Hi, my name is Kinley Smith, and this is my Take video. Think about how much of your life is controlled by things that you don't even notice, like what shows up on your TikTok feed or your Instagram feed, your YouTube feed, or even just your Netflix recommendations. You think it's random, but it's really not. After watching Elie Wiesel's speech about indifference in reading 48 Hours Without AI, I realized something that's kind of uncomfortable. Technology and algorithms might actually be making us more disconnected from each other without us realizing it. In Wiesel's speech, he talks about how dangerous indifference is, especially during the Holocaust, where people were treated like they didn't matter, as if they weren't even human. That might sound like something from the past, but honestly, I think we still see a version of that today online. On social media, people aren't really seen as full human beings. They're just usernames or comments, and because of that, it's way easier for people to be very rude or very cruel. For example, if someone posts an opinion that others don't like, others will attack them in the comments without even thinking how it affects the other person on the other side of the screen. Algorithms actually make this worse because they push content that gets strong reactions, especially negative ones. So the more hate or drama something has, the more people see it. That creates distance, and when there's distance, it's very easy to stop caring. Wiesel also says that silence actually helps the oppressor, and I think that connects a lot to how algorithms work today. In the article, Jacob talks about how AI basically filters everything in our lives, and one way it does that is by showing us something that we already agreed with. So if you believe something, your feed just keeps reinforcing it. You don't really see any other perspectives. So that creates what people call echo chambers, where everyone thinks the exact same way. Because of that, people might stay silent on important issues. Not always because they don't care, but because they're not being exposed to different viewpoints and perspectives. And when extreme ideas are all that you see, they can start to feel normal, which is actually very dangerous. One thing that really stood out to me in the article is how much control that we've given to AI without even realizing it. Jacob tried to live 48 hours without AI, and it was basically impossible, which shows how dependent we are on AI. We like to think that we're making our own choices, but a lot of the time, algorithms are influencing what we watch, what we buy, and even what we think. So when we give up that control, we lose some of our freedom. And if everyone is being influenced in similar ways, then our freedom as a whole becomes very weak. Because real freedom isn't just having choices, it's actually being the one who makes those choices. Another important idea is of how AI is connected to money and business. Companies use algorithms to keep us engaged as long as possible because that's how they make profit. That means the goal isn't always what's best for us, but it's what keeps us watching, clicking, and scrolling. So sometimes that leads to more extreme or emotional content being pushed because that is what gets the most attention. So instead of being seen as people, we kind of be seen as data and like numbers based on what we click, what we like, who we follow. So I think it's very hard to avoid that. But being aware of it helps us stay more human in a system that's focused on efficiency. So after looking at all of this, I don't think technology is completely bad, but it is part of our lives, and I think it's something that's never going to go away. But I do think we need to be more aware of how it's shaping us as a person. Because if we're not paying attention, it becomes really easy to lose empathy, stay silent, and give up control without even realizing it. And like Wiesel suggests, what really matters is how we treat other people. So maybe the real question is, are we going to let algorithms decide everything for us, or are we going to stay aware and choose for ourselves? Thank you.